Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India restricts import of ready-made garments, other goods through land transit, posts days after Bangladesh put similar restrictions for Indian yarn and rice. Fresh round of negotiations for a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal between Israel and Hamas begins in Qatar's Doha. Hamas proposes releasing some hostages in fresh talks. US President Trump says he will speak to Russian President Putin on ending the Ukraine conflict on Monday. Also plans to speak with the Ukraine President, NATO members as well. In sports, world number one Yannick Sinner will face four-time Grand Slam champion Carlos Alcaraz in the men's singles final of Italian Open 2025 on Sunday. The Directorate General of Foreign Trade, DGFT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, has imposed new port restrictions on certain goods imported from Bangladesh to India. According to the notification issued on 17th of May, the import of ready-made garments, processed food items, fruit, drinks, cotton, waste, plastic goods and wooden furniture will be restricted through specific land ports. Now, these goods can only be imported via Nhava Sheva and Kolkata seaports, with restrictions on several land customs stations in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram and other parts of West Bengal. However, the restrictions do not apply to goods in transit to Nepal and Bhutan or imports of fish, LPG, edible oil and crushed stone from Bangladesh. The government is sending 7 multi-party delegations to different countries to present India's stance on counter-terrorism and Operation Sindoor post the Pahalgam terror attack. The all-party delegations will soon engage with key nations under Operation Sindoor, reflecting India's collective resolve against terrorism. First among the 7 all-party delegations will be led by BJP's Baijan Pandya and visit countries including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain and Algeria. The second delegation will be led by BJP's Ravi Shankar Prasad and it will visit nations including UK, France, Germany, European Union, Italy and Denmark. The third delegation will be led by JDU Sanjay Kumar Jha and will visit Malaysia, Indonesia, Republic of Korea, Japan and Singapore. The fourth delegation will visit nations including UAE, Liberia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone and this will be led by Shiv Sena Shrikant Shinde. The fifth group of all-party MPs will be led by Congress's Shashi Tharoor and will visit nations including US, Panama, Guyana, Brazil and Colombia. The sixth delegation will visit nations including Spain, Greece, Slovenia, Latvia and Russia and will be led by DMK's Kanimoy Karunanidhi. The final and the seventh group will be led by NCP Supriya Sule and will visit nations including Egypt, Qatar, Ethiopia and South Africa. For years, Pakistan has been spinning a web of lies related to its status as the global epicenter of terrorism, exporting terror to India while pretending to be its victim. But from time to time, it gets tangled in its own web of deceit. The latest is to get caught in it are two Pakistan's top figures, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Army Chief Saeed Asim Munir. And it's all in the context of the Pahalgam terror attack in India's Kashmir and the action that India took thereafter, dubbed as Operation Sindoor. India too has put things in motion to further corner Pakistan at the international stage. It's a cross-political party effort. Let's take a look.
Pakistan has always been its worst enemy. And this time, its lies have been exposed by the terror epicenter, nation's own Prime Minister. During Operation Sindoor, where India carried out decisive and precise strikes against Pakistan's terror infra after the 22nd of April Pahalgam terror attack, the top brass of Pakistan's armed forces kept saying virtually no harm has come to any of its assets. Come Friday, Pakistan's PM Shehbaz Sharif openly acknowledged India's audacious action, confirming the destruction of the Noor Khan airbase and multiple terror sanctuaries on the 10th of May. Speaking at a public event in Islamabad, Sharif revealed that he was woken at 2:30 a.m. by a secure call from Pakistan's Army Chief, General Asim Munir, who informed him of India's missile strikes on the key airbase.
9 और 10 की दरमियानी रात में तकरीबन 2:30 बजे सिपह सलार जनरल सईद आसिम मुनीर ने मुझे सिक्योर फोन पे मुझे बताया कि वज़ीर-ए-आज़म साहब, हिंदुस्तान ने अपने बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल अभी लॉन्च किए हैं, एक नूर खान एयरपोर्ट पे गिरा है और कुछ और दूसरे इलाकों में गिरे हैं.
Although the guns have fallen silent after Pakistan, in a desperate plea for mercy, sought an understanding with India to stop military action, Operation Sindoor rolls on. The Indian Armed Forces remain on high alert, fully prepared to counter any offensive, with field commanders granted the operational freedom to respond swiftly and decisively to any provocations.
पाकिस्तान की सेना अभी सोचती ही थी और 9 तारीख को हमने 15 जगह पर, ये भी उनके एयरबेस पर, उनकी जनता को कोई नुकसान नहीं, 15 स्थानों पर उनकी क्षमता को, वायु हमला करने की क्षमता को तहस नहस करने का काम भारत की सेना के वीर जवानों ने किया.
In another move to isolate Pakistan at the international stage, India has formed 7 all-party delegations headed by leaders of different ruling and opposition parties, tasked with taking the message of zero tolerance against terrorism to key global forums, including members of the UNSC later this month.
बहुत अनुग्रहित हूं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का कि जो सांसदों का डेलीगेशन जा रहा है उसमें एक डेलीगेशन को लीड करने के लिए उन्होंने मुझे चुना है. जहां तक सुबह मुझे जानकारी मिली है कि मेरी अगुवाई में जो डेलीगेशन जाएगा वो सऊदी अरेबिया, बहराइन, कुवैत और अल्जीरिया जाएगा. तो जाकर के मैं ब्रीफिंग हम लोग लेंगे और फिर भारत का प्रभावी पक्ष और अपने प्रधानमंत्री जी की सोच और भारत की एकता इस पूरे मामले में.
India's robust and restrained response has garnered wide support from the international community. World powers have condemned the Pahalgam attack and endorsed India's right to self-defense. With inputs from Rabindra Chauhan, Mihir Makhuri, reporting for DD India.
Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha on Saturday visited the line of control in the Karna sector of Kupwara district to take stock of the prevailing situation and assess security and developmental initiatives in the region. During his visit, the Lieutenant Governor interacted with residents affected by cross-border shelling from various areas. He assured them with the government's unwavering commitment to their safety, providing adequate relief measures and expediting developmental works in the border areas. The governor also chaired a comprehensive review meeting with senior civil and security officials to discuss the overall security environment, ongoing public welfare projects and issues faced by the local population.
प्रशासन के अपने साथियों का मैं बहुत आभारी हूं, जिन्होंने बहुत कठिन परिस्थिति में भी सदैव मौके पर डटे रहे और आवाम को कोई कठिनाई न हो, इसका उन्होंने भरपूर प्रयास किया. प्रशासन ने आकलन कर लिया है और उस आकलन के आधार पर जो अविलंब सहायता दी जा सकती थी वो दे दी गई है. जो क्षति हुई है उसका एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्लान डिविजनल कमिश्नर कश्मीर और सीनियर ऑफिसर मिलकर बनाएंगे. उस आधार पर भारत सरकार से अनुरोध करके लोगों को पूरी तरह से रिहेबिलिटेट किया जाएगा.
The Lieutenant Governor also visited the headquarters of Shakti Vijay Brigade in the Tangdhar sector. During the visit, the Lieutenant Governor was briefed on the ongoing operational developments in the Tangdhar sector, including the conduct and progress of Operation Sindoor. He also interacted with the troops of Shakti Vijay Brigade, commending them for their valor, high morale and steadfast dedication to duty. In a major crackdown on espionage, Haryana-based YouTuber Jyoti Malhotra has been arrested for allegedly spying for Pakistan. She was produced in a court and granted a 5-day remand. A case has been registered against her at the Civil Lines police station in Hisar. Police has confirmed that Jyoti was in contact with Pakistani intelligence agencies, sharing sensitive information via social media. In another case, accused Devendra Singh Dhillon, who used to send information to Pakistan, has been arrested from Kaithal in Haryana. The accused, Devendra Singh Dhillon, is a resident of village Mastkar of Gula police station area. Devendra used to make videos of army cantonment and sensitive areas and send them to Pakistan. In a significant nationwide outreach effort, the 11-day-long Tiranga Yatra is underway across the country to honor the courage and sacrifice of India's armed forces, particularly celebrating the success of Operation Sindoor. To celebrate the success of Operation Sindoor, a Tiranga Yatra was organized in Haridwar, Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami on Saturday praised the Indian armed forces for successfully carrying out Operation Sindoor and said that they displayed their bravery and valor and destroyed the terrorist sites in Pakistan. In a powerful display of patriotism and solidarity, eastern Indian state of Odisha witnessed a grand Tiranga Yatra on Saturday in honor of the Indian Armed Forces, which successfully executed Operation Sindoor in response to the recent terrorist attack in Pahalgam. In support of Operation Sindoor, a Tiranga Yatra was organized in Banda, Uttar Pradesh, to showcase solidarity with the armed forces and patriotism. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO on Sunday launched its 101st satellite EOS-09 aboard the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-61 from Satish Dhawan Space Centre at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. The PSLV C-61, marking the 63rd flight of the PSLV series and the 27th in its 40th configuration, was tasked with placing the Advanced Earth Observation Satellite EOS-09 into a sun-synchronous polar orbit. However, the EOS-09 mission could not be accomplished. According to the ISRO chief, the performance was normal up to the second stage, but some issues were encountered in the third stage. ISRO has announced that a failure analysis committee will thoroughly investigate the telemetry and flight data to determine the exact cause and implement corrective measures. Despite the setback, ISRO's PSLV remains one of the world's most reliable launch vehicles with a long record of successful missions. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Kentucky and Missouri in the U.S. massively hit by tornado, leading to 25 deaths. Pope Leo XIV to formally take up his role as leader of the global Catholic Church with a mass in St. Peter's Square.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you more updates. Israel and Hamas have resumed ceasefire talks on Saturday in Qatar after Israel launched a major offensive that killed hundreds in 72 hours. Hamas has agreed to release hostages in exchange for a 60-day truce and Israel releasing Palestinian prisoners. A Palestinian official said the new proposed deal would also allow the entry of 400 aid trucks a day and also the evacuation of medical patients from Gaza. Israel in turn has demanded proof of life and detailed information about all remaining hostages. Meanwhile, Israel said it launched a major military operation in the Gaza Strip to pursue Hamas to release remaining hostages, while Prime Minister Netanyahu told a negotiating team to remain in Qatar for indirect talks with the militant group. Palestinian health authorities said at least 146 people had been confirmed killed on the third day of Israel's latest bombing campaign. Many hundreds more were wounded in hospitals and countless others were buried under the rubble. Israeli protesters gathered in Tel Aviv on Saturday, blocking roads and making speeches calling for an end to the conflict in the Gaza Strip and the release of the remaining hostages. Israel and Hamas have restarted ceasefire negotiations in Qatar, even as Israeli forces intensified their bombing campaign. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz announced that discussions on securing the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas had resumed in Doha. He noted that the talks had started without Israel first agreeing to a ceasefire or to lift the blockade. US President Donald Trump said on Saturday that he will speak with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and NATO allies after his call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Trump had offered to travel to Turkey for the talks while in the Gulf last week if Putin would also attend, but Putin declined to take him up on the offer. Trump has been pressurizing Putin and Zelensky to agree to a ceasefire in the three-year-old conflict. Trump said in a Truth Social post that his call with Putin will be on Monday. Trump's remarks come a day after the first Moscow-Kyiv talks in 3 years failed to yield a ceasefire agreement. Putin had declined an invitation from Zelensky to attend Friday's talks, sending a lower-level delegation in his place. Following the talks, which led to an agreement to exchange 1,000 prisoners each, Ukraine's defense minister Rustem Umerov said that the next step would be a meeting between Zelensky and Putin. The Kremlin said on Saturday that Russian President Vladimir Putin could meet Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, but only if certain agreements were reached. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov did not specify what agreements would be required from Russia's point of view. Putin and Zelensky have not met since December 2019. Zelensky had challenged the Kremlin leader to meet him in Turkey this week, but Putin instead sent a team of aides and officials to meet Ukrainian negotiators on Friday for the first bilateral. Ukraine said it had raised the issue of a Putin-Zelensky meeting at the talks. Peskov said that Russia considered such a meeting was possible, but only as a result of work between the two sides to achieve certain results in the form of agreements. Earlier, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov spoke with each other on Saturday. During the call, Rubio welcomed the prisoner exchange agreement reached during the recent talks between Russia and Ukraine in Turkey. The secretary also emphasized on U.S. President Donald Trump's call for an immediate ceasefire and an end to the violence in Russia's war with Ukraine. Bangladesh's Inter-Services Public Relations has announced a ban on all forms of meetings, rallies, processions and demonstrations in the areas surrounding Dhaka cantonment and other key locations in the capital, effective from Sunday and until further notice. The restriction, effective from Sunday, will remain in place until further notice. Officials have stated that the measure aims to maintain security and public order in these sensitive areas. Later, the Dhaka Metropolitan Police also issued a release prohibiting public gatherings in the same locations. One person was killed and 5 were injured in a bomb explosion near a reproductive health facility in Palm Springs, California. The explosion that occurred before 11 in the morning was spotted from a bomb placed near a car. The FBI in Los Angeles said to investigate the explosion with bomb technicians deployed to the scene. The American Reproductive Center's fertility clinic was damaged, but the staff was safe. Mexican security forces detained 9 alleged members of a criminal group and killed 12 others in an operation in a rural part of southwestern Mexico on Saturday. Security Minister Omar Harfuch confirmed 3 members of the Navy were injured in the Navy-led operation in Huitzontla. The detained individuals are linked to crimes such as homicide, extortion and kidnapping. The Security Ministry said in a statement that the criminal grouping in the area are tied to maritime drug trafficking, which said naval personnel found weapons and tactical equipment at the site. Mexican newspapers reported that the group was part of the cartel Jalisco New Generation gang, one of Mexico's two major drug cartels, and which the US government designated a terrorist organization in February. 7 of the 10 inmates involved in this daring escape from a New Orleans jail remain at large on Saturday. They first pulled a sliding cell door off its tracks, then breached a wall by ripping away a toilet and a sink. Security video captured the men fleeing via a loading dock, scaling a wall and running across a nearby highway. The Orleans Parish Justice Center, which mostly holds people awaiting trial for sentencing, discovered the inmates aged 19 to 42 were going through a routine head count on Friday morning, officials said. Hudson said that they believed the inmates may have received assistance from individuals inside the department. A jail employee monitoring surveillance video saw the escape but did not alert deputies. She said she did not detail the assistance the inmates received. An unstable spring weather system spawned powerful tornadoes in the U.S. Midwest and Ohio River Valley, killing at least 25 people in Kentucky and Missouri. The severe storm swept through the U.S. states, causing widespread damage to homes and property, laying waste to local communities and cutting off electricity to nearly 200,000 homes, authorities said on Saturday. At least half a dozen tornadoes touched down in Missouri and neighboring Illinois, and other severe weather stretched all the way to Atlantic coast, including another tornado reported in New Jersey. Another tornado ripped through St. Louis, killing 5, injuring 38 and damaging 5,000 properties. It tore off the roofs of houses, knocked down power lines and swept through a major thoroughfare during rush hour traffic. Pope Leo XIV will formally take up his role as the leader of the global Catholic Church on Sunday with a mass in St. Peter's Square. Tens of thousands of well-wishers, including dozens of world leaders and European royalty, will be in attendance. Robert Prevost, a relatively unknown on the world stage who only became a cardinal 2 years ago, was elected Pope on May 8th after a short conclave of cardinals that lasted barely 24 hours. Spanish King Philip and Queen Letizia, US Vice President J.D. Vance and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are expected to attend the ceremony. While the presidents of Peru, Israel and Nigeria, Prime Ministers of Italy, Canada and Australia, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen are also expected to attend the ceremony. His first words in an appearance to crowds in St. Peter's Square on the night of his election were, "Peace be with you all," echoing words Catholics use in their celebrations. The world is celebrating the International Museum Day with the theme, The Future of Museums in Rapidly Changing Communities. It explores how museums can adapt, lead and thrive in the face of societal, technological and environmental changes. Museums are seen as essential connectors, innovators and stewards of cultural identity in rapidly changing communities. Let's talk of sports now. In tennis, world number 1 Jannik Sinner will face Carlos Alcaraz in the Italian Open final showdown on Sunday. Sinner ended a 47-year wait for an Italian to reach the men's singles final in Rome after Adriano Pennetta lost the title match to Jean Borg in 1978. Playing on home clay in his first tournament since a 3-match doping ban, Sinner overcame an off-key start before overcoming the 11th seed Tommy Paul in the semi-final. Meanwhile, Sunday's final will mark the first meeting between Sinner and Alcaraz since October, when Alcaraz won the China Open final in the third set tiebreaker. Alcaraz holds a 6-4 edge in their career meetings and has won 3 straight against his biggest rival. Kolkata Knight Riders were eliminated from the IPL after their match against Bengaluru at Chinnaswamy Stadium on Saturday got washed out by rain. It was a must-win game for the Ajinkya Rahane-led side to stay alive in the playoff race, but persistent rain at the venue forced the match to be abandoned, with both the teams sharing a point each. As a result, Kolkata could now go to a maximum of 14 points, which will not be enough for them to make it to the next stage. On the other hand, Bengaluru, with 17 points from 12 matches, have taken the top spot in the table and nearly booked a playoff spot. This was the match that marked the resumption of IPL 2025, but rain marred the joy. And now from the world of music, Austria won the Eurovision Song Contest 2025 in the Swiss host city of Basel on Saturday. Operator singer JJ won ahead of Israel in the world's biggest music competition, which was watched by more than 160 million people across the world. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us at Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.